What's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Got a question for you. Tired of not having good swag? Tired of your wardrobe looking bland? Need some heat when you hit the streets? I got that solution. That aggressive M. McLean Circle. The circle, if you will. You can always go to lsmclean.com. There's a link right there to my store. Laced. Or you can always go to @McLean_circle on IG. Laced. Do yourself a favor. Go to the circle. Get this heat. And I'm going to do you a favor. Use code Let's Eat at checkout. And I'm going to say you some cheese. Because that's how I do. The circle. Join it. See you there. Now let's get started with this podcast.
Ayo, it's podcast time. Let's do it.
All right, man. All right, we're on. Yo, we're on. Dang, well, it's go time now. Listen, like y'all know how I do. Corner of the circle, bro Rogan back on this thing. I got, man, this is as rarefied air as it gets. You know what I mean? I get some pretty decent athletes. You know what I mean? I got some, I get some top level, long drivers. I got some baller golfers. I've had some gymnasts. I've had swimmers, but never in my life have I had a world-class triple jumper. You know what I mean? And not just world class. When I talk world class, I'm talking like not like, hey man, I'm one of the best in the world. I'm talking like one of the best in the world. He's got rings behind his name. He's got those Olympic rings behind his name. And I'm being honest with you, there's not a lot of people in the world that has those. Dead or alive. Let's be honest. I mean, it's I mean, to intro this dude is like, man, you gotta be on your gritty, man. I mean, he's a champion, you know. This man can literally fly. He does things that not everyone, damn near any people can do. There's people that are still there's people that have been doing it for years that are trying to do what this man's done. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the man, the myth, the legend, the flying legend, Chris BENARD. Thank you so much for being on, man. I appreciate you.
What
Appreciate
an
you.
introduction. Thank you for that
Liz,
intro.
hey, it is what
That,
it is.
yeah.
All right, man. So for the people, I'm trying to think, man. Like, but I haven't really literally seen you in like what 3, 4 years, 4 years, about
Yeah,
three, 4 years.
this is Vegas.
Yeah, since Vegas, man. And um, I got to get to know you a little bit, man. And that was like right after y'all had gotten back.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's right after the Olympics, yeah. Um,
Either that or London. It might have
yeah, yes, it was after London.
yeah, it might have been London.
Yeah, and look at that, That's a subtle flex. It was after London, no big deal. But you know what I mean. So for me, it was real cool, you know, because I like, it's I like to think that in order to try to be the best at what you do, you got to kind of try to surround yourself and be around people that are the best at what they do. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because I've known Troy Doris. Shout out Troy and Ryan. Um, I've known those guys for years, man. And you're one of the very few guys that he would sing praises. Like I'm like, hey, like, dude, this man. I said, dude is cold, man. He's good, dude. That's crazy. So I was like, well, man, who is this dude? You know what I mean? And there's only so much IG can tell you. There's only so much, you Wikipedia will tell you or like Google will tell you, man. So then when, like, yeah, man, we'll look at, with my man Chris. And I'm like, what? Shut up, for real? Oh, all right, bet, let's go. And so, we, get a chance to kick it, just kind of, pick your brain and, just kind of see how you move, like, the way you operate, man. It's there's no secret, obviously, to why you have success, as an athlete, man. My thing is all twisted. What are you doing, man? Chill out. And obviously, it's no secret as to why you have so much success, man. And then, it's there's a commonality, man, amongst elite level athletes, man, that I've, at least from my extensive research, I've been able to kind of gather, man. And everyone has this ability to, it seems like elite athletes have this ability not only to think outside the box, but kind of, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Remove themselves from a situation. You know what I mean? in order to find like what, in order to find that whatever that is inside them to get to the next level. And I know like we just kind of chatted. I think we were in the house just kind of sitting and chatting, man. And I was just kind of low key picking y'all's brains, but and the thing is weird because I'm not really big on remembering a lot of conversations, man. But I always remember how I feel after those conversations, man. And I remember like just kind of listening to you and Troy, man, just kind of talk about, training and and little stories here and there, man. I'm like, bro, these dudes are on a different level. And I'm not gonna front. Man to man, I always thought that I was on that type of level. Like, man, I'm the type of cat when it's time to get it, it's time to get it. Until I heard y'all talk, I'm like, dog, these dudes are on like operating on something totally different. So then that whole trip, that whole like 3 or 4 days, I was around you dudes, you know, I would talk and crack my jokes and everything, man. But I think that's one of the few times I was trying to literally double listen as much as I talk, man, just to kind of like absorb what how you guys were talking. I mean, even when y'all even when you guys were talking about other competitors, man, guys y'all are going against and like getting ready for the next, the next event or whatever it was, like there was like, this like I don't know, it's like it's like a unspoken. I don't even. It's hard to explain. It's like it was saturated in this respect, but also in this like, but when I see this dude, I'm gonna get him. And so like it was literally y'all were like the 3 or 4 cats, man. I'm like, wait, what? And I've never heard, to be honest, I never heard, competitors talk. You know what I mean? First of all, I've never been around a fellow competitor that I've gone against and like been friendly more than, what I'm saying, a day or two. You know what I mean? And to be able to, not only, do that, but just, to almost just put it all aside, like, hey man, let's just have a good time, whatever, and then back on the grind, back on the grind on Monday. That was kind of a cool thing that I was kind of able to take from like just like being around you two, man. And so, I remember I got home, man, and I told my girl, I was like, man, this dude, yo, yo. And so like you know what I mean? And so it's been cool because it's like I said, to hear the name is one thing, you know what I mean? And I think, I mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think once you're once you're a track and field athlete, you're always a track and field athlete. Regardless if you still compete, you still like look at who's doing what. You're still looking at people's marks. You know what I mean? And you're just almost gauging yourself. You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
what other people are
medically, for
doing.
sure.
Yeah. So like, fast forward to present day. Like I don't think I've ever like stopped like people what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? People what Troy's doing, everything. And just like, man, dude, these dudes are still doing it. Um, and I think I was lucky, to run into you when I did, because that was, what I'm saying, that was right when you started to eat super heavy. You know what I mean? And like that was when your media started taking off. So I'm like, bro, if I would have met this dude anytime after that, I don't know that we've been able to have this conversation. I don't even know that we'd ever, we'd been able to really, be able to chop it up. You know what I mean? Because like, you're either gonna catch a person, what I'm saying, when they're doing this, or you're not going to catch them at all. You don't catch them on the way down, because usually people don't come back down, because usually like once they're done doing their career, they go on, they start coaching people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure.
Or they go on to bigger, better things as far as the world class athletes I've ever had a chance to know. So it's crazy, and I mean, I guess this is probably the longest thank you that I've ever given anybody, man, because I just, like I said, the fact that we're able to chop it up even like to this day, man. Like knowing how busy your schedule is, knowing how training's going, knowing that, I mean, you have your sights on winning. You have your sights on, making the next move, and it's not an easy thing to do, you know what I mean? Especially, with the way COVID and everything is. So I mean, you have to be super honed in right now. So I appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with me. But those are the people that do live on the rock, that aren't me, that don't know, who you are, man. Give us 5-10 minute rundown of just kind of your background and what got us to this point right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely appreciate the introduction. I would say, I mean, just to backtrack to that Vegas trip, you really did catch me in my comfortable element. Like
Yeah.
being around Troy Doris, and then even being around his brother, like that's one of the few triple jumpers where I know we're thinking on the same
Right.
like, and I feel like I was the fact that I was really just out there chilling, and
Yeah.
I didn't even really consider how I might have been coming off. So
Yeah.
hearing what you're saying right now is like it's warming for me where I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, I didn't even know I was kind of giving off that kind of energy. We were
Yeah.
really just kind of going back and forth and just sharing genuine vibes.
Yeah.
The same, I feel like the same way you were looking at me to where thinking I might be extraordinary. I was thinking the same thing of you hearing your accolades because I feel like had you like been close to a world record? No, you had
Yeah.
won a championship just recently, right? You had
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, damn, that's incredible too. So now just kind of backtrack into that. It's very interesting to think about to say the least.
Yeah, man. Like
But
it's
yeah,
so what so like have you always, I guess, like I said, I mean, kind of leading to your story, have you just always just been, just that just have that extra gear, that extra pogo, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit more, a little bit more bunny rabbit than the average dude. Like what got us to this point right here?
you could say that. Like I would say I knew I had jumping ability,
Yeah.
but I I'm very observant, so I'll compare my success to somebody else's success, and I
Yeah.
might put their success on a pedestal because of how applicable it is to
Yeah.
the reality. So me being a great jumper when I was younger, I'm like, okay, I could jump well, but I'm not going to get paid necessarily to jump well as a football player or
Facts.
to just jump well as a student. Like, yeah, I have this explosivity, but I didn't really know exactly what it meant when I was that age.
Right.
And then as I got better at triple jump, I would still say like, okay, I'm explosive, I could jump, but these people are still beating me.
Right.
So like I've always kind of been gauging like my abilities based on what they could actually do for me
Right.
instead of just being like, yeah, I can jump. Like it was,
Right.
I guess, that simple for me.
So it was almost like I mean, you viewed it as an ability, but also a tool,
Yeah,
like almost as, as if like, all right, well, I have a tool, they have a tool, their tool might be a little bit sharper than mine. What can I do to get my tool as sharp as theirs in order to surpass what they're doing?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy because I never really thought, to be 100, I never really thought about my abilities, as a tool. I mean, because there's always, I mean, I think we've all gone to school with that kid like, yo, that dude right there can jump out the building. You know what I mean? And then you have, you know, that kid that like, hey man, that kid over there that works really hard. Very seldom do you have the guy that does a little bit of both. Like, hey man, that dude can jump out of the gym, but he also, bro, he's putting in extra work, to make it happen. Well, where's he gonna go to school? Like, we don't know, man. This kid just puts in work, and then you come back, a couple years later, and the dude is, he's scouted up, going somewhere, about to ball out or jump for somebody because he was able to put that ability, he was able to put that ability to use. So I think, I mean, I think that's cool to have had that, that way of viewing your ability as, as a youngster, dude. Because like, let's be honest, man, when you're young, you don't really, most youngsters don't necessarily think about their ability as like, hey man, this is a tool that I could use to get to another level, but rather like, hey, I can just jump over people. I can jump farther than the average man. Like, if you're able to actually hone that, I mean, to hone that ability into a skill, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And to take that skill and further, I guess, take it to the next step of making it an art form. You know what I mean? Like, because to be honest, man, at this point, everyone has the ability to be an athlete.
mm,
But then there's the very select few you guys that are able to go from athlete to artist by what you do. Um, and I mean, there's so many hours that are put into it. You know what I mean? And again, it's such a specific skill that so few people have. The fact that you're able to do it and able to grow it into something, I mean, honestly, beyond most people's dreams. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. So I mean, for people that know the hard work that we as lifters put in, I don't think they understand how much harder the work is, um specifically as a track and field athlete. I mean,
mm,
there are, you know while we do weight train, I mean, bro, I remember like when I was sprinting in college, just we'd have weight training, and then we'd have like swimming, and then we would have,
mm,
just like we would just work turnover. We
yeah,
would have turnover week, and then it was cool because we did work a lot with. I mean, because there was a couple of us that were dual that also were long jumpers. I certainly was not one of those, but we would have the jumpers would like often like work with us especially with the turnover along the track. I mean, in order to translate that into obviously more velocity to get up and over. So having an opportunity to work with those guys and seeing how much extra you guys have to do, what I mean? Because you have to be a sprinter, you know what I'm saying? You have to be a high jumper, you have to be a long jumper, and to be 100, you really have to be, you know, damn near a dancer in order to, because cadence is such a huge thing. Um, so like take me through, I mean, if you can, take me through. Man, I don't want to go with the PR jump. I don't want to go to the PR jump just yet. Um, Take me through that first meet that you went through. That you, I guess that you went to. That was like, all right, I'm different. I'm built different.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could definitely do that. And to even to note off what you said about track athletes kind of having to do so much things, people don't really realize that how track differs from most sports like
Yeah,
football, basketball, and baseball. And those other three sports that I just named,
yeah,
you can have a great day without being at 100%. But
facts.
track is so specific that if um if if you want to have your best time, you kind of have to be operating at 100%, and your best time is what people are going to review you on. It's not based on
Absolutely.
if you like if you got 40 points with the twisted ankle, people are just going to call you great, but you're not going to be able to have a 40-point track day
No.
because if you're hurt because your body's not operating on at full capacity. So that kind of goes into why you have to be so specific within track if you want to be, I guess, successful within the sport. But
That's
shoot, let's backtrack to that to when I knew I was when I knew I was different, and it happened in high school. And
uh-huh.
when I was my junior year in high school, I wasn't a great triple jumper. The in triple jump, there's a board that you have to jump from to make it
Uh-huh.
into the sand. It's almost like you're like like crossing the sands, like you like if you can't do this, you can't triple jump. If you can't make
Right.
it to the sand, they're not going to measure your jumps.
Right.
So in my junior year, there was a meet where I actually didn't even make it into the sand. It was like 38 feet, and that was embarrassingly short for somebody who's now, a solid triple jumper.
Yeah.
That was my junior year. Coming into my senior year, I had got coached up by one of my close friends. He was an upperclassman, and he had went to a University of Tennessee as a walk-on and came back and just kind of gave me some tips. So coming through my senior year, I opened up my year at 43 feet, um, and then I went to 44 feet the next meet. And this is at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm getting better. Like I'm doing
Right.
well. I could actually triple jump decently. And then I went to 45 feet. So every meet, I'm improving by a foot
That's insane.
until I get to 46. And then after I went 46 feet, I went to another meet, and I remember it. I remember feeling cool that day because my mom let me drive her car to the meet. So I drove myself to the meet.
Oh,
Started
it's
driving.
over.
Felt good about myself. And at that meet, I jumped 49 feet 3 inches, and that was the furthest jump in the state of California. And me as like I played all 4 years of football, um, and then I got into track my junior year, like I said.
Yeah.
So that was like the point to where I started transitioning my thoughts from being like a football player who thinks like I thought of myself as being really good at football, and if I just keep on grinding, maybe something
Right.
can come out of it. Then all in that moment, it's like, nah, like you don't got to wait on nothing to get this triple.
No, let's go.
You're doing it right, yeah.
Already, yeah.
Like you just established yourself further in the triple jump than you have in football in one competition, and it was with that 49-foot jump. I would say my senior year in high school. I remember dumping music on my drive back, just smiling for the rest of the day. Just
Right.
that was a really good day for him.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, I don't think people it's hard for people to understand how far 49 feet is, let alone how far 49 feet is, you know what I mean, as a high schooler. And then I think people further they further don't understand how hard and how competitive it is in the state of California.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I mean, there's few play if you're a track kid, there's a few places, you know what I mean? There's a few places that you can maybe make it out of, but you gotta be of GOAT like status.
Texas,
California being one of those, Texas being one of those,
Florida.
and Florida. If
Yeah.
you make it out of any one of those three as a track and field kid, you're doing something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's absolute facts. That's across the board. It's crazy, man. So then, I mean, so then after that 49 feet, they obviously you started leaning, I'm sure, quite heavy more towards, track than anything else. Because again, I totally agree. You get to that point where, like, hey, I'm definitely different. I don't have to. It's not that you don't necessarily have to grind like football, but I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Wait for my coaches to make a highlight tape, or wait for the quarterback to throw the ball, or wait for my team to eat for me to actually get an opportunity. If I keep putting up these numbers like this, you know what I mean? I don't even have to look for a school. The schools are gonna look for me.
Mhm.
And I mean, and it's not. It's to no discredit of football teams. I mean, I play football, but even I felt that way when I ran track. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not the tallest dude out there in this football field, but I am blazing these fools on a track. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So you,
Tangibles go out the window.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So then I'm like, well, if that, at least in my case, if that's how I can get schools to look at me because I'm faster, you know what I mean? Maybe I can get my chance, to get to. And that's how I got to school. I got to school on a track and football scholarship. It wasn't just football. I didn't have it like that. You know what I mean? So you just couldn't be a small cat like that and get a power five to look at you. You know what I mean? So I feel that. I mean, you get that number, you get that mark, then it changes everything. It literally, I think it creates a shift mentally. So
Should.
then, so then you're feeling yourself. You know what I mean? And so now, you know what I mean. Now you're top dog in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Which is, that's king shit for people that don't understand. Like, you listen. If you're top dog in Cali, you pretty much you're top dog in Cali, and likely you're probably top two in the nation. You know what I'm saying? As far as the areas, because if you're coming out of Cali, if you're coming out of Texas, or you're coming out of Florida, you know what I'm saying? And we're you know what, I'm gonna get hate for this, saying this out loud, but I'm saying it. It doesn't matter where the other people come from, because the level of
Right.
competition is just different. You may not have you don't even necessarily have to have the fastest mark, or the longest mark. You know what I'm saying? But if you're the top dude in one of those top three areas, you're different. You're built different. You know what I mean? So now we're sitting at the top dog in Cali. So our schools are starting to, you know what I'm saying, sort of show interest, I'm assuming. Or
Yes, but because I'm such like a late bloomer, it wasn't like I was getting reached out to by like, I guess, anybody worth considering.
right.
And also given that the track season happens in the spring,
Yup.
like it's I would have needed to do this mark my junior year if I wanted to be recruited correctly.
Absolutely.
So it was a little bit late for me if I wanted to get, I guess, the recognition I felt like that mark could bring.
You're right.
So I ended up going to a junior college
Right.
instead.
Right. And then went to JC.
Mhm.
How did JC go?
So JC was a development, and I also have a moment to where I knew like, okay, now this shit is still lit. Like this is
Yeah.
going well. But my freshman year at RCC, I would say I was still struggling from the habits that made me have to go to a junior college in the first place. So
Absolutely.
like being a procrastinator more so than anything, like not wanting to do schoolwork, and even like in terms of pushing yourself on the track, like there's I feel like every athlete, they has this innate laziness in them to where they only want to do as much as it takes for them to be better than everybody else. It's not necessarily about how good they can be as an individual.
Hmm.
And it makes sense. It's like you always hear about like these athletes who are just so good and did so little, and you're like, dang, well, maybe I could be that good of an athlete.
Right.
Nobody's thinking like, oh, well, I want to just be better than them off a rip. Like those are the people that really end up developing into a monster.
Right.
Like Michael Jordan, he was working to be the best player there is. He wasn't trying to be Magic Johnson. He was like, no, I'm gonna be better than him.
Right.
Yeah. But so I would say my freshman year, I wasn't doing the bare minimum, but I would say I was doing the bare minimum for me to skate by being the best triple jumper on the team. Like
Yeah.
I'm nobody's gonna tell me that I'm not doing enough because they can't beat me in the triple jump.
Facts.
So there's nobody really getting through to me, and nobody really has room to say much to me because I could still beat them in the triple jump.
Right.
So I feel like it was almost like mutual parties allowing me to just be at this kind of like stagnant level.
Right.
But because of that work ethic, I would say when it came down to going to state, because in California, in the junior college level, we only do state because there's
Right.
like 50 colleges. So
Right.
it's enough competition for us to just compete amongst each other. But at state, I ended up getting like ninth place. And I had
Right.
the best jump in the state of California again with the 50'6".
Yeah.
So very disappointing. I was like, this isn't the level that I should be jumping at, especially
Right.
given that when I came into this meet, I had the best mark in the state. So
Right.
dropping to ninth, like I'm doing something wrong. So coming into my junior year or my sophomore year at RCC, the junior college I went to, I locked in pretty much.
Yeah.
I locked in on schoolwork. Like I understood, like I just something dawned on me, like do your work. Like you don't got to be all the way right.
Yeah.
You don't got to make sure all the spelling is perfect. Just
Right.
do within your knowledge. Like do
Right.
what you can put onto the paper. And then so my grades started getting better. And I ended up taking this weightlifting class that was just like extra credit or like
Right.
extra credits towards my degree.
Right.
In that class, I was actually weightlifting and I was doing
Right.
like just stuff that I thought would apply to triple jump. So
Right.
hamstring curls and leg extensions, and
Yeah.
calf raises, and just things that are just building my general strength. Nobody's telling me to do this though. And I had weights later on in that day too. So stuff was just progressing
Right.
just off the fact that I was telling myself like, nah, apply yourself.
Right.
Work. So what ended up happening my sophomore year is I won state in the long jump and the triple jump.
Let's go.
Right. Yeah. It was lit. It was like I knew I was a good long jumper, but triple jump was always my focus. But the long jump was the day before, and I qualified for long jump in state, obviously. So I went out there and I did what I could, and what I could was enough for me to win that state. So
That's crazy.
my main event, like triple jump, I ended up jumping like it was a windy 53'3", but like the stars aligned that day. I would say like, or just that weekend to where like I had a PB in the long jump and a PB in the triple jump, and I was already jumping really well that year. But I feel like just off of the fact that I was just working so genuinely
Yeah.
and just trying to figure things out, like and just applying myself the best way that I could. The moment that I really wanted it to apply for, it actually applied for that moment.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just like me willing it towards the moment. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, we're working hard for a reason. It's going to
Yeah.
make sense. If it don't work out at that moment, then you were doing something wrong. If that's the case, then so be it. Like,
Right.
but it worked out real well, and I feel like that was like when I knew like, I can get a D1 scholarship. I should
Right.
be in Division I school. I'm jumping far enough to qualify for nationals in Division I level.
Right.
So, like, just keep this shit up pretty much.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So I mean, in a lot of I guess it's hard. It's hard if you go JC and you don't necessarily have the coaches, because I mean you there's some junior colleges out there that have amazing coaching staffs.
Mhm.
But 9 times out of 10, if it's a great coaching staff, they end up gone after, after a year or two,
Right.
and or you're either going to catch them, on the way out, and or you're not going to catch them at all.
What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this podcast, depending on what form of media you're using. Number one thing I want to let you guys know about, I need you guys to go check out Bare Performance Nutrition, one of the greatest, best tasting supplements out there, and rule number one, they're very, very, very clean. So if you're an athlete, get tested, guess what? BPN is what you need to use. Now, you can either go to bareperformancenutrition.com to check them out, and or you can go to IG and go to @BPNSubs, or if you just don't want to do any of that and you want to just find an easier way to go to that, well, I got it. You can always go to lsmcclain.com, and there's a link on the page that you can get to Bare Performance Nutrition. Now, At checkout, I need you to use this code. Use the code Let's Eat and you'll save at the end of checkout. Thank you guys very much. Let's get back to the show.
So, you might have a good coach for maybe 1 year. That's if if you end up staying at the JC for a couple of years. So, I mean, or you may not have a good coach at all. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, regardless if you have you could have a world class coach. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that internal motivation to take your own performance to the next level, it ain't gonna matter. You know what I mean? Like I refuse to believe I've been coaching kids, man, for what 20 years almost now. It's crazy to think. And I mean, and the one thing that is completely echoed over and over, it does not matter how much you want your athlete to go to that next level, to be a better version of themselves. If it's not internal, if they don't want to do it, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that's something absolutely sick to learn from. I mean, the fact that, I mean, you knew you had the talent, number one, but you knew the work ethic wasn't matching the talent, that God-given talent. So, when it matched up, when you made a match up, it showed up when you needed to show up the most. And that's a huge lesson to be learned, man. So now, you know what I mean? Now we're sophomore year, in the schools possibly that weren't giving you a look before. I'm sure they're giving you a look now, or at least you're getting far more looks than you would have coming out of high school.
Absolutely. Yep. And that, yeah, I got like it was like local schools like Cal State Long Beach. They work really closely with RCC. And
Yeah,
a lot of the Cal States were talking to me, but I didn't even really know what a good school was. Like I was more looking around through the Pac-12. I really liked UCLA because my best friend went there,
yeah,
um, and I liked, of course, Oregon. I was talking to them a little bit, but what I ended up going to Arizona State University, and
word,
I feel like the main reason why I went is because they recruited me the hardest.
yeah,
Like the coach was really talking to me a good like the recruiter was talking to me a good amount. I enjoyed my visit there. It was the only visit that I even took really, and it
right,
just felt right. Like it seemed like my best opportunity. I would
right.
say was going over there, and I probably would have been happy going to any Pac-12 school given the fact that I was at a JUCO and like I was basically at a small scale. So
Yeah,
just the idea of getting like gear like
right.
with a bunch of logos on it and all those things
Yeah,
was was pretty much enough for me. I feel like thinking back about it, I I might have been a little bit more patient with my decision.
yeah,
I'm like knowing the headspace that I was in those moments where it was like, okay, I won state. I did all the work that I could. Now it's time for me to try to decipher between the information that's getting put in my face. I understand why I went to ASU,
right.
but I would have waited. I think I would have taken advantage of the fact that I could be recruited by more schools.
Right.
I had more the knowledge that I have now.
I mean, but I can't say. I mean, you haven't done too bad for yourself using
Yeah,
using
for,
using the
no,
Sun Devil using the Sun Devils as a springboard. You know what I mean? Like you know, because at the end, I mean, I will say, I mean, at least when you were there, they had a fairly, a solid coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? So that's huge. I mean, there's the Pac-12 just in general just has some of the world's best just all around coaching staffs. I would say, you know, Pac-12, I won't say all of the SEC. You know what I'm saying? But you say like maybe the top 3 or 4 SEC schools. But it just, I mean, if you look across the board, I mean, most of the top coaching combinations, most of the top coaches really reside in the Pac-12. So I mean, it's almost like one can't necessarily go wrong. If as long as you stay within that Pac-12 range. There might be, I think there's maybe two.
seeing where I know I was naive is I didn't even know how much of a powerhouse the SEC was at that time. Like I didn't even know
Word.
or like LSU had been a dynasty in track and field for like
Yeah.
this is all knowledge that I came across after already getting into the Division 1 level. Like Texas A&M, like they demand respect when you see them on the track because of their
Facts.
ability. And I didn't even, or even Florida and like just the
Yeah,
schools
man.
that I didn't know the extent to their level of track success, I
Yeah.
would say. And so I wish I was a little bit more researched in that realm.
Right. But
That's yeah.
but yeah, and still you still went to a solid ass school. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? You know, so like
And
it's
I feel lucky, honestly, for that. Like,
yeah,
it could have really went a lot of different ways, like
facts.
with the knowledge that I had.
Yeah, man. I mean, because dude, the Sun Devils year after year, boy, they put out heat. So it's just like, I mean, you went to a, I mean, and let's be honest, man. I mean, aside from Arizona State, I mean, really, but I mean, you could have go. I mean,
Mm,
Oregon's up there, but I mean, Oregon just has such a mystique. You know, what I mean, a lot of it's just, I mean, they're a good program, you know what I mean? But overall program, I mean, I just feel like Arizona State is just as good as an overall program. Now, Oregon, I will say Oregon, Oregon just they don't. I won't say they have the pick of the litter, you know what I'm saying? Because
mhm.
that's like, I mean, but you know, Oregon does have the Nike behind them, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't hurt. That was
There are a lot of reasons to why they get the best recruits. Like,
absolutely, absolutely. That was my third recruiting trip coming out of high school. I was like, man, I need to go here.
mhm.
Knowing damn well, I was like, nah, I don't want to. I'm not gonna leave my mama. This is way too far. But yeah, like Oregon's fire. You know, what I mean, and honestly, like coming out, I wanted to go to Arkansas so bad. I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna do run track, I want to go to Arkansas. Until I went to Arkansas, I'm like, I don't like this place.
You live out here, huh?
Nah, bro. I mean, and you can't stay at the college forever. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to go to Arkansas so bad. The facilities was just like, man, I felt like, man, bro, this is how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I mean, and I'm raised in Texas, man, and I was raised a UT and Texas Tech fan. There's no way I was gonna go to A&M, regardless of how fire their program is.
You wasn't
I
try,
mean,
you wasn't trying to live in College Station.
ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way.
Yeah, it's like the university is the only thing out there, right? Like
It's
that's
it, man. It's just this big fortified square. You can't, I ain't. It's just not my steez, man. I mean, as far as the way I think, the way I roll, I don't think I could have done it. But I can't say that. Once you're an Aggie, man, it's just like one of those things. Like, bro, it's like they own half the world. So,
right.
I
Yeah, they take
mean,
care of you there.
yeah, they
What about
do.
UT? You didn't like Austin?
Oh, I love UT, but my cousin went to UT. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to. At least for me, as far as my family went, man, I had enough families, spread around the Big 12 area. I'm like, I don't want to go where my family's been. You know what I'm saying? I want to make
Your,
my own
your
way.
camera fell over again too, by
Man,
the
it
way.
keeps doing it. You know what? I know what I'm about to do here in a sec. I'm about to just put it on a whole different thing. Um, as far as UT and everything, when I wanted to for a little bit till I realized it's about to do it again. I'm about
Yeah.
to just put it on another. One thing's trying to. All right, that's what we're doing. That's okay. I'm gonna talk to you while I'm doing this. But yeah, so I had like I said, my family they were just like all over the Big 12. You know what I mean? And so you don't necessarily want to. At least for me, I didn't want to go somewhere that all my family was at. So I chose to go to Tech, and then I was at Tech for a little bit, and I transferred to ACU because they had a better track and field program.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's really crap. I think I got it. Whatever. Um, that's really kind of where I was at in my head. But then I was always lucky because we did get a chance to go like the Tyson Invitational. We did get a chance to go to the Penn Relays. We did get a chance, to go to UT and to go to the Clyde Littlefield, and watch everybody go in. So while while I was ended up going to a Division 2 that ends up going to Division 1 school, I was able to watch do some of the most amazing athletes just go at it, man, and be like, dude, this I I think I was fast, but I was still on that leaning more towards football because when I got to college, like, dude, I'm killing it. You know what I mean? I'm doing better in college than I did in high school. Like, yo, this might be for me. And I mean, dude, I had with three future Olympians that I ended up running with, man, like for their respective countries. Like, man, listen, bro, I'm at the very least I might be, number 4 on my team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm never gonna podium because 1, 2, 3 was my team. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like, you just I was fast. I was fast enough that like I leave a dude on the I leave a few dudes on the track, but I leave more people on the football field. So I'm like, let me go with what I'm good at and that I know I can make a bag at. So and for me at the end of the day, I'm like, well, what I know that I want to get my master's. I know that I want to get my education paid for. Well, I can go do this practice squad thing for a couple years, what I'm saying, and pay for it myself, So it's like you gotta find where your own opportunities are. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you're a prime example of that. Like, what your opportunity was at Arizona State. You took that opportunity, you parlayed in it, what I'm saying, into now a successful, professional career, you know what I mean? And again, you're able to do stuff, that you're able to do and have seen stuff that I'll never, 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 ever, ever, ever be able to see. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just, I don't know. That's 99.9% of the reason I'm like, dude, I gotta get this dude on this podcast, man, because I think people understand. Like, I love my football, I love my basketball, but in my heart, I swear I was an Olympian. You know what I mean? But like, my body said otherwise. So I mean, I'm gonna save I'm gonna save the Olympics love for a little later. I do, want to know, you know, that I want to go back to the PB triple jump. I mean, I keep looking at it, I'm like, damn, that's insane. Like, I need to know that story, man, because I think, we, as lifters, because a lot of lifters do listen to this, a lot of, strength athletes listen to this, we all have that story of like, oh yeah, I remember that one time, I lifted this, yada yada yada. I mean, and we all, it's very common. We know how that feels, but I
Mhm.
don't, but I've never heard the story of what it's like to just, bro, you were literally flying, man. Like, you were literally like,
Yeah.
like, I need this ain't for anybody else. This is for me being nosy. Like, I need you to take me through that moment, man. I don't know. I've been waiting to ask you this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me think about it. Like, we're because I the jump you're talking about is from 2017
Right,
at in Sacramento,
right,
and I would say, like, if I'm trying to relate it to like to a lifter feeling good for a PB, or to somebody doing like to to somebody's stars aligning and
yeah,
everything going well, I I wouldn't relate it to that for myself in that moment.
yeah,
So leading into USA's, I had a little hamstring strain, but I had been training very well.
right,
I knew I had been training well,
right.
but I had to kind of be careful on like how I pushed myself, because
Facts.
I didn't want to get too excited, push myself past my breaking point, hurt
Hmm.
myself, and then not even be able to capitalize on all the work that I had been putting in.
Right.
So it was like I knew I was ready to get after it, but I wasn't absolutely telling myself like it's time to just go for it. I was
Facts.
just I was just in that good a shape at the time to
Right.
where when it if the shit hit, the shit was about to hit.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So at that actual time, um, when I find like at the actual when it was finally time to actually jump, I was more feeling it out
Hmm.
than I was just going for it. So I only ended up taking 4 total jumps out of my 6. And I passed for my last 2 because I knew nobody else was going to pass me to get onto the world team with the marks that I had already put out there.
Right.
So if I was really like just going for it, I would have I I know I would have jumped further. So the
Right.
jump, it would have really looked like I was flying. And and I would have taken all 6 jumps. Like I would have seen how far I
Yeah.
could jump that day. So I feel like that that PB moment, it was more of a description of how well that I had been training overall than how ready that I was on that day. It
That's
wasn't like
crazy.
mhm. It wasn't like a fluke, because like sometimes, like when you just black out, like
Yeah.
you know of athletes that do this, like they have that day where just everything's lining up.
I
Like,
just can't be touched.
yeah, and like I respect that, but I don't like to. I don't really want that for myself as much as I want consistent far jump.
Yeah, you want dominant consistency.
Mhm.
Yeah, consistent dominance. I
And
feel that.
I think that that moment to where like I didn't take all 4 of my jumps, but it's still the furthest jump that I have on paper for my
Yeah.
fair jumps, because I've jumped further. No, I've scratched further jumps than that. Like I know I've jumped further than that physically. I just haven't
Right.
put it on paper. But the fact that that day I was willing to only take 4 jumps, even though I was jumping so well, I knew like the bigger picture says like you're gonna jump far whenever you need to. So you just jump
Yeah.
far right now. You're just absolutely ready. Don't try to
That's
fixate so much
crazy.
on the fact that like that you're jumping well in this moment, because the big picture, you're nursing something. You're not really trying to break yourself right now.
It's
You're
like
just
what?
trying to
It's
qualify.
like did that man just go 58? Did he just go 59? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, I mean that. Not only because I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna go on record saying this. That's not just a PB. You know what I'm saying? For a PB on paper, dude. That's a mental PB. You know what I mean? Because like that's being smart. That's being a smart athlete. You know what I mean? Like I know what I need to win. That's done. I know what to need. I know what I need to make this world team. Did that. Can I go back out here and show these boys? Yes, that's absolute facts. Do I need to? No, not at all. So am I gonna take A or B? I'm gonna go with B. I'm just gonna chill. You know what I mean? And because you live to jump another day. You know what I mean? Because you know that decision leads to bigger and better opportunities later on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which is crazy because who's to say? You know what I mean? Like you go for that fifth attempt. You know what I'm saying? And it might end up being a wrap.
Right.
So that's crazy. I did not know that part. I did not know that you only took 4.
I only took 4 of the jumps. Yeah, I didn't even do the whole series.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Dude, that makes that even more dangerous. That's crazy.
That's why I'm
Bro,
still.
that's crazy.
Mhm.
I did not know that, bro. I did not know that. I don't know. Sorry, I apologize, y'all, because it's starting to sink in. Like, yo, like that's insane.
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely had more in the tank that day. I just
dang.
it wasn't, because I knew like at that point, because USA Championships is only a qualifier. Like
Right,
yes, a championship, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the road. It's like
right.
it's not what you're trying to get to. Is you're trying to get past that. And I knew like, okay, if I'm jumping well like this, then I'm putting myself in medal contention
Facts.
for world championships. So
Facts.
if I if I if I really, what do I really want? Do I want a PB at USA's, or do I want a PB at Worlds? So I
Well, okay.
want.
Well, here's my question for those of our number, because I'm telling there's a lot that don't know. So what would a typical, you know, you know, not like I guess not somebody that's grinding, but like what would be your typical season,
Indoors and outdoors. So
right?
like there'll be an indoor world championship and an outdoor world championship, and you'll periodize your training so that you peak at those two championships.
Right,
But competing for United States, you kind of have to work in a peak for USA championships too, because of how competitive it is.
right,
So you can jump further than the Olympic gold medalist did, because this happened in the long jump at USA championships, and still not qualify for the Olympic team. So like, yeah, think about like you can jump far enough to get yourself a medal at that championship,
right.
but that still might put you at fourth in the United States.
That's
Because yeah,
insane.
so a typical season is kind of like just kind of dealing with the fact that you have to manage your peaks if you
Right.
do want to peak at the right time. At least that's if you are thinking, because some people don't even think of training that way. They're just kind of like, I'm just going to go for broke and hope to maintain through the length of the season,
Ooh.
which that's also that's dangerous too, because then by the end of the season you're broken down either way. But if
Right.
you've been trying to hang on to this peak for 2 months, your body's definitely going to be like, nah, like I'm not, I can't redline for 2 months straight.
No, not at
My
all.
engine's going to blow. So a typical season, you're dealing with those peaks, and then they'll have like different level meets leading, like in between the championships. So like
Right.
before actual Olympic trials or before USA championships, there might be like 3 diamond leagues or some meets over in the Caribbean or anything like that. And you'll use those meets for preparation for the actual championships. And also, the bigger the meet that it is, the more world ranking points that you'll get. And your
Right.
world ranking points determine whether you can get into more meets the next season, or if you like basically your world ranking points determine if you can get into diamond league meets or not, because they're putting in people with higher world rankings. So it's kind of, it's balancing a lot of different things. And if you're doing it well enough, then like you'll end up with the season peaking at the right time with the higher world ranking, and then like at the actual championships you'll do a PB or a personal best. And if you can kind of like line up your season to where that happens, then you're in the money.
Man, that's boy's caking off with, man, that's crazy. All right, now I'm just now that these next few questions, this is just me again me being nosy. Bro, I got to, I mean, you know me well enough, I guess, to know like how how much of a sneakerhead I am.
Mhm.
The fact that you're a Nike athlete blows my brain, dude. I don't even listen, man. So so I don't even remember when it was that you put it in your profile, but I remember I lost my mind. I was like, "Yo, this boy's a Nike athlete." That I lost it. I remember losing. I'm like, man, yo, man, I don't even know why. I mean, this is the thing, man. It's not like you're not cold. So I'm like, it's there's it's either you're gonna be a Nike athlete, you're gonna be an Adidas athlete. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, all right. I mean, you know that a person's cold, but for some reason when you get that check next to your name, you know what I'm saying? When you like, hey, this dude's a Nike athlete, it's like, wait, this is different. You know what I mean? And I think for those for those people that are watching and listening, understand, like, you have, all right, understand the level this dude is on, because it's not like hey, he's sponsored by SBD, which, you know what I'm saying, that's fire, that's a sponsor of mine, shout out SBD, you know what I'm saying, or he's sponsored by, RPS or whoever. This man is sponsored by Nike. He is a Nike athlete. Let that sink in for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really want to ask you questions about it. I just want, you know what I'm saying? I just want to stunt real quick. Like, yeah, my man's a Nike athlete. Like, that's crazy. Like, bro, I don't even. I'm telling you, on the strength of that alone, bro. People couldn't tell me shit, bro. I can promise you that. So, I don't even know. That's so crazy. So that wasn't even a question. That was just me doing a subtle flex. Like, that's fire, man. Congrats on that. I mean, and
I,
again,
I
that attests
appreciate that.
that attests to hard work. That's crazy, man. Like, I don't even know. I'm out here giving these boys all my money. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. This is a legit question, man. When was it? Um, when did you get with Coach Fisher, man? Like, that was.
Mm.
I mean, was that the was that the point where everything really changed? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you were already eating, you know what I'm saying, prior to, but when was it when was that moment, like, you know what, I need to take it to the next level. Fisher's the one that's gonna help me get there. Like, when did that all happen?
Yeah,
And for those people that know, I'm sorry, for those people who don't know what I'm talking about, uh, world renowned coach Jeremy Fisher, one of the coldest in the game.
right. Best coach in the world.
Yes,
Knows your shit.
coach.
He knows your shit really well. Very smart guy. It is a story behind that too, because initially, well, I train in Chula Vista at
Right,
it was once called the Olympic Training Center,
right.
but now it's a Chula Vista Elite Athlete Training Site
Yeah,
because it's not sponsored by USOC anymore. But
yeah,
that's neither here nor there. But when I first moved in, or when I left college, it was to move to Chula Vista
right.
to work out at the Olympic Training Center. But my junior college coach had a connection with a coach at the Olympic Training Center, so that's how I knew to even try to go there. But that coach wasn't Jeremy Fisher; it
Right,
was Al Joyner. And
right,
so Al Joyner was the 1988 gold medalist in the triple jump.
right,
And yeah, sister was super good.
right.
So that's who I was supposed to work with initially.
Right.
Um, so when I first left college, I knew I wanted to work with Jeremy, but I didn't want to step on any toes if somebody was already thinking that they were going to work with me. So my first 3 months in Chula Vista, I worked out with Al Joyner.
That's
And
crazy, bro. Get out! I didn't know that either, man. Oh my god, this
yeah,
is insane,
but
man.
but the connection that I had with the center, I hadn't really talked to Al before I got there. I'd only talked to Jeremy because that's whose information that I had ended up getting. So I knew who I wanted to work with, but I knew who I was kind of who I was selected for.
Right.
But during that time working with them, I think I jumped like right around my college PB, so I didn't get worse or anything, but I knew that I wanted something that was more technically sound and more technically backed. I would say Al's program was a little bit more old school, like kind
Mm,
of it was like it was building strength, but it was like kind of building all strength. It wasn't as focused. Like it
right.
basically like what we were going to be doing, you were going to get better because you're just getting all around stronger. You're not
Right.
necessarily focused on the little things to 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 make yourself better.
Right.
But that's what I wanted because I knew I had a lot of technical deficiencies that were
Mm,
holding me back from being consistent. So after that 3 months, um, the season ended, and in between the last season ending and fall conditioning starting up, I started like talking to people like, would it be okay if I switched programs? Like, would that be cool with you? You're a coach here. Would I not be stepping on any toes? And I talked to people from the center, and I talked to Al, and I just told him like where my interests were, and that I was more interested in being over there. And it went pretty seamlessly. Like I don't know if it was just the way that I approached people about it, but I was
yeah.
able to switch programs and work with Jeremy starting in the fall of 2013.
I mean, and the thing is, I mean, people, because I mean, I think he had. I mean, he's coached everybody, bro. But I mean, so I'm trying to think. I guess does he? I don't. Does he? I don't even know. Does he still coach Will Clay
Mhm. Yeah, he does.
um?
Brittany
So
Reese, Troy Doris.
yeah,
That's
man.
how I
Like so,
met Troy right there. Well, that's not how I met Troy, but that's how we got really close.
yeah.
My direct
Like
trainer.
so. I mean, yeah. So the dude is just he's a guru, man. I mean, in his method works. I mean, there's a few coaches out there that do the damn thing, but I mean, he's that dude. You know what I mean? So like for you to be able one, for them to recognize that you have the ability, you know what I mean, and the potential, you know what I mean, to be in that program, that in itself is a huge compliment. You know what I mean to your upside. I mean, obviously, you know what I mean, to be on an international level, you have to have the most tremendous of upsides to even be given the okay to go to to Coach Clay's program. So that's insane. Because I mean, because I think he's I mean I feel like he's always had the secret. You know what I'm saying? He's always got that sauce to just get more out of an athlete. But I think around that time, especially I say, but I think post like 2012, 2013, bro, he was on a different level in terms of his coaching abilities. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of that, you know, a lot of that really kind of spilled over and if people watch Will Clay's progress and and what he was able to do or what he's able to, I should say, I can't say what it was able to do, like y'all boys are like forever. um like it's crazy. It's crazy to see like how y'all are just all just so cold. But then I'm like, well, you know this dude comes from a different walk of life. This dude comes from a different walk of life. Obviously, Troy's production started really going through the roof when he pretty much the same thing.
Mhm.
So you look, kind of look throughout, like what's the commonality? Oh, bro, they got Coach Fisher. That dude is cold. So I mean, and so it all throws back to how you were talking about, you recognizing in order for you to be the best version of yourself, you know, you had to do the little things. You know what I'm saying? You had to hold yourself accountable. You had also have to recognize. recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses is such a hard thing to do because you have to put your pride to the side. You have to push your ego to the side, recognize like, hey man, I've got a lot more weaknesses than I do strengths. Regardless of how well I jump, regardless of how well I perform, I could be so much better.
Mhm.
What and or who is going to get me to that next level? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was Jeremy Fisher, man. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get any better. There really is no. I mean, again, that's just me talking. You know what I'm saying? Because two of my friends are coached by him. I don't know that it gets any better than the man. And again, this me being a trackhead. If if you don't know who that name is, if you don't know who that man is, first of all, get on Google. You know what I'm saying? Second of all, you probably want to drown yourself because he's one of the coldest that ever did it. I said it, and I mean it. Um, but yeah, like I think, again, because of circling back, because of making that choice to go to ASU, you know what I'm saying? I believe it and again, this in my opinion, it sets you in a path of, almost keeping those California eyes on you, keeping those eyes at the former Olympic Training Center, because I mean, let's be honest, once you go over a certain mark, you know how it goes. Once you go over a certain mark, eyes automatically go on you and they stay on you. And they don't necessarily have to have a microscope or a telescope on you, but you're gonna have some general eyes on you. Let's keep an eye on that kid, see how he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, it's there's one thing to be like, oh, this, here is a good triple jumper that's at University of Florida that's across the way, or here's a good triple jumper that's at whatever freaking Arkansas, that's across the way. But here's a kid that, I mean, like, bro, he's just right down the way. Like, if we need to go check him out, we can go check him out. If we want to not walk, but if we want to drive down, you know what I'm saying, and talk with coaches, we can talk to coaches. Like, he's right there. You know what I mean? The power of accessibility is such a strong thing. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, like, you can either be a victim or you can or you can really be a beneficiary of having,
Right.
of being close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, that you were close and you were putting up numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like, those eyes never left.
Right. It's
So
just
then,
it really
you know,
lined up.
it
Like
really did. It really did. So, I am a belief. I'm of the belief that had you gone to an A&M, had you gone to a Florida, had you gone to a Texas, things may not have aligned that way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I mean, that power of proximity is a beautiful thing, man, when it works in your favor. You
And
know. Oh,
yeah, it absolutely has. And I definitely don't regret going to ASU or anything like
no, no,
that.
no.
I I I more recognize that I made an uninformed decision that
Absolutely.
definitely worked out for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's you need to be a politician because that's a good way of putting it. Like, I mean, but I mean, I can say this, you know, I feel like when you're at the level that you're at, right? When you are, a world class caliber athlete, I feel like, luck tends to favor people that just make plays for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So while it may not have been, the most informed decision, you know what I'm saying? It was yet still a good decision that was in your self interest. You know what I'm saying? Because regardless, you still ended up at such an amazing school. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And and ended up in such an amazing position, dude. Man, I don't.
Yes, sir. Podcast going pretty good so far, right? Right. Now, this particular portion is going to be brought to you by Virus International. Dude, some of the dopest performance wear in the game. I got all the stuff from shorts to leggings to shirts to sweats. They got it all. Hats, socks. Hey, they even got singlets. So, if you want to raise your game up a little bit, it might be time to go to Virus. Now, you can go to Virus a few different ways, okay? Number one, you can always go to virusinternational.com. Right there, VIRUSINTL.com. Boom, and you'll be right there. Or you can always go to Virus on IG, Just type that in, and guess what? You're gonna find them. Or you can go to ellismcclain.com. Did I say that right? No, I didn't. ellismcclain.com, and you'll be able to go to the bottom of the page, and there'll be a link there that links you to Virus. Now, and again, if you want to save some money, just use the code Let's Eat 10% off at the end of checkout. Boom, you're good to go. Help your boy out. Virus. You know what it is. Let's get back to the show.
It's cool because like right now, I mean, even in my head right now, I'm thinking to myself like, bro, I gotta go, you know what I'm saying, and move this weight around, you know what I mean? But I'm hearing this story, and it's like that's one more, one more penny, in my bank of inspiration, man. Because hearing this, I'm like, yo, like it's about the grind. Like it doesn't, that grind doesn't escape any of us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, you can't get anywhere without going hard. You can't go anywhere without really, that that super stringent self-assessment that one has to do in order to
Mhm.
figure out where you're at in comparison to where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
I think the biggest thing that you said that I never thought about in my training, and this is God's honest truth, man, was doing just enough to be the best in the room, to be the best on the team, but rather doing more than enough to be the best that ever did it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? To be, the best that you can be. I mean, I don't think I've ever really, I've trained and worked to be the best, in a class, but I never thought to myself like, hey man, let's start doing this training toward training to be the best that ever really did it, the best, version of myself. If and like, you know what, if the stars align, much like you said before, if the stars do tend to align and my best version is better than what anyone's ever done, then I put myself in the position to do
Right.
that. But
Exactly.
if I've only trained to be the best in the class, that's different. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, I'm taking that, dog. I swear to you, I'm
Yeah.
taking that.
And
I swear I
it's,
wrote it down. It's written down. Like I'm taking that with me.
and
Um,
it's really good too because nobody really wants to be dead tired all the time.
no.
And people they they'll use the fact that they don't think that somebody that they see as great. They'll be like, okay, they got this tired, so it is acceptable for me to be this tired as
Hmm.
well. But trying to push past that would just make you crazy. Like, oh, you're trying to work harder than the best person to do it. Like, what are you aspiring to really do? But nobody's really thinking to the fact that, like, if you are capable of being more tired than the best person to ever do it, then all you're doing is finding your limits. You're not just working within limits, like
Yeah.
within created limits that people are, I guess, putting on you. So,
Because I think people. I think the crazy thing that that people do is like obviously you put the best that ever you put the best people on this pedestal, right? And you just assume because I feel like sometimes the human mind just doesn't wrap itself around the fact that while these people are the best that ever did it, they're
they're
still
human.
fine. They're still finite beings. They're
Mhm.
still a limit
Exactly.
to what they do. But because we view them as the best, like that has to be the apex. That has to
Right.
be the absolute ceiling to where the human body can go. That has to be the absolute ceiling. Like Michael Jordan shot 1,000 shots every day. Like to do
I'm gonna
more
do
than
a thousand. Like,
yeah, like
but you
you
can
know what
do
I'm
a
saying.
thousand.
But then you have cats like Kobe Bryant. Like he did 1,000, bro. I'm gonna do 2,000.
Right. Or Kobe might even say, I'm just gonna do it to my wrist breaks.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I
Like,
mean?
how,
And
how many can I really do?
how
Like,
many can I really do? How many can my body really, really, attain? And then it might be like 994. Like, you know what? I need to do more.
yeah. Or
You
you
know what I'm
might
saying?
hit 500 and be like, I'm pretty tired. I did
I'm
push
pretty.
myself
I
today,
push my
but
yeah.
I'll excel in another place. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like I mean, so to be able to recognize that, man, and I think again, to be an athlete, period, and recognize other athletes' greatness, what I mean, is that's a strength in itself. But I feel like again, it's a common thing with all athletes on the top level is you recognize, real recognizes real regardless across the board. You know what I mean? And I do feel like that certain Mamba mentality that Kobe always spoke of. You know what I mean? That a lot of people are trying to adapt and adopt and emulate. You know what I mean? It's still such an unattainable way for people to really live their lives, man. That I mean, a lot of people fall short, and there's modified versions of it, man. But there's a reason why the best in the game why they were the best in the game, why they are the best in the game. There's a reason why LeBron James is he's gonna be goated by the time this thing is over with. You know what I mean? Like,
Really
you,
goated.
you know what I mean? Like this, I I love my Jordan, and I'll almost go to blows. You know what I mean, behind Kobe. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
Oh
then
yeah.
at the end of the day, you cannot convince me that LeBron James is not the greatest basketball player that's breathing. Like,
Right.
it's just hard for me to be convinced that he's not. You know what I mean? And while like the mama in me, cringes to think like, bro, I gotta get this man his credit. I gotta get that man his credit. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
real recognize real.
Real
It's
recognizes real. You know what I mean? And so, and then again, that's slinging it right back over to your way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, while I will, Brian, I know for a fact, I tell you right now, man to man, I don't think I can make it into the pit triple jumping. I don't think so. I
not
don't
the
think I don't
easiest thing.
I don't know if I could do that. I hurt myself. You know what I mean? But I do know how an amazing of a feat that is. You know what I mean? And to be able to do it, you know what I mean? To be able to do it consistently is one thing, right? But to be able to do it on a world class level like you're doing year after year after year, that's something on a whole nother level. And I think that's the hardest thing for people that don't know track and field, that don't know the triple jump, that don't know explosive movements, that don't know grace in the air, that don't know air awareness. You know what I mean? That they don't understand what you're doing is such a specified skill.
Yeah, you spitting right now for real. You spitting right
You know
now.
what I'm saying? Like, people,
Bars.
I don't, man. I can't tell you how many, and I'm about to hurt some people's feelings right now. I cannot tell you how many triple jumpers they got to college and realized they were just a long jumper.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many long jumpers they got to college and realized, hey man, I might just have to stick to sprints,
Yep.
or I might just have to be a regular student. There's a lot of combo jumpers out there that realize once they get to that college level, they start going against them real dudes with them the real hops and that real drive. That, hey man,
Yeah, that's deep. I never thought about that's yeah.
you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, there's a lot of long jumpers out there that started off as triple jumpers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, and it's no knock, but it's just, man, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
It's an absolute different beast. It's a different way. It's a different form of explosion, man. It honestly, when you really look across the board in terms of all the different, disciplines within, the umbrella of track and field, it's probably the most explosive use of movement that you're gonna find, but it has to be laced with grace. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Well,
And
work.
it won't work. You can't go in there full speed. You know what I'm saying? You can't go in there aiming for the board. Like, there's it's an art form, man. And for those that recognize it, you just, hey man, y'all boys got it.
And that's why I say you're spitting right now, because that's some really good perspective that I never even really. So now that I've ascended in triple jump, now that I understand the event well enough to continue to do it without breaking my body down,
Right.
I can look at people and say like, the way that you're doing it is not going to work. You might jump far here and there, but
Yeah,
you're going to get hurt before you're successful. And I can
absolutely.
see that from the high school level to professionals that are
Hmm.
still even doing it, but like not everybody has the wherewithal to be able to be like, okay, the way that I'm doing it is different from the way that he's doing it,
Hmm.
and he's jumping further than me for a reason. People will more think like, okay, we're doing it different, but he's just blessed this way and I'm blessed this way. They're
Right.
not really breaking it down to say like, well, my hips are behind me, and if I continue to do this, my low back is going to break, and I'm not going to be able to even run correctly to get any faster, to get any
Right.
better doing this. But no, I just yeah, I like what you said about that.
Yeah,
That was
man.
yeah, that was really good. That
Like,
was
I
deep.
just, man, like, you know what I mean? Like my favorite time. It's just weird, man, because I mean, they're starting more now than in the past, like, to televise a lot of, a lot more track and field, you know what I mean? Thank God. Um, because I mean, it's one of the last true art forms of like, hey man, the best man wins. That's it. There ain't
Mhm.
no, you know what I mean? The judges can't help you. You know what I mean? Like the clock can't help you. It's just like, hey, he jumped further than I did.
Right. First,
That's
second,
it.
third.
You know what I'm saying? He went a tenth of a second quicker. You know what I'm saying? She got over the hurdles faster. You know what I mean? Like she jumped higher. Like I mean, it's athletics in its purest form because you're not getting help from anything. It's just you. It's just
Mhm.
you. You know what I mean? Um, and the equipment that you do have, it's really used to just up your game. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't give you an advantage.
Mhm.
Everyone has the same 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has the same opportunity to qualify. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
that's it. It doesn't matter if you're tall, doesn't matter if you're short. You know what I mean? There's you know what I mean, there's dudes 5 foot nothing out there that they're jumping over bridges. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's dudes that's 6 foot 1,000. You know what I'm saying? That can barely get out the pit. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean the great equalizer is the ability to make it happen versus those that don't. That's it. If you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. And if you can do it, you might find you a coach that can help you do it better. You know what I'm saying? And then you take it to that next level. Some people don't have that ability, and you know what? That's fine.
Right.
God bless you. You did what you could with what you had, and that's it. And for those that are like yourself that are able to take it to that next level, you know what I mean? Like the rest of us, down on earth watching, like, bro, we have a chance to really watch you guys do some otherworldly stuff on a like on a really on such a large scale. It's fun to watch, man. I'm not gonna lie, and it's weird because like when COVID hit and the way COVID hit, what I mean, it obviously it took away a lot of meets that I would have had a chance to watch, couldn't watch. You know what I mean? And so then you can YouTube as much as you can, you know what I mean? And you can go to IG and follow all the accounts, you know what I'm saying? And really that was the fix that you get. And when they started opening stuff back up here and there, like, oh word, now okay, cool. So maybe, because honestly there's nothing like going to an outdoor meet, man. You know what I mean? It be by 70, 75 out there, man. Conditions are
Yeah.
right. It's a light breeze, you know what I mean? You
Mhm.
know,
Paint that
it
picture.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's just enough of a breeze that you don't get the wind aid, you know what I'm saying? But it keeps you cool. The
Right.
sun's coming down, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just
That's a
enough.
beautiful day.
That's that day, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's nothing like it, like there's really nothing like it, you know what I mean? And I mean, if you run or if you jump, like that second. I always feel like the second day of the new shoes. That's my favorite day. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like it's not the break-in day. The break-in day is
Right.
always trash.
Rough on the toes.
It's rough on the toes. You know what I mean? But that second day, bro, ooh,
Right.
they still crispy. You know what I mean? You don't have to screw any new spikes in. You just out there. Like I miss those days, bro. I miss those days. I think I love competition, bro, but I miss those good training days. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss those days of just like going out there, like, you know what? I'm about to put up something dumb just because, you know, coach just gave us he just gave us he just gave us a 10-8 pace. Like, bro, we don't never get a 10-8 pace in 100, bro. Like we get to like cut loose a little bit, and talking a little trash to your homies and just, going out there, hey bro, you don't drink too much water, you gonna get waterlogged, I'm gonna catch, like I miss those days, I don't know, man. I think that was a part of college that I think I missed the most was track practice. Hating knowing that it's about to be like 100 to something degrees outside, but like, hey man, we got to get it. Like, are we going indoor? Nah, coach said we're outdoor today. What?
Right.
Damn. All right. But
Mhm.
and looking at the schedule, like, okay, hey, we got, I got 2 more races. I got to qualify for Nats. I got to get these boys. You know what I mean? Like, I miss those days. So like you know, like linking up with y'all boys, man, just listening to y'all talk, man, that brought back memories, man. I'm like, bro, these boys are still doing it. Like to be able to wake up and do something that you love is one thing, but to be able to wake up, do something you love, get paid from it, be recognized for it, you know what I mean, and be able to impact people like you're able to do, you know what I'm saying? That's that's a whole nother level, you know what I mean? And you know, there's the 1%, but then there's the 1% of that 1%, and you're like sitting in that 1% of the 1%. You know what I mean? And I mean, and for those people that have an opportunity to listen to you, man, I know that they get the sense, just like I get the sense, like, you don't take that for granted, you know what I mean? And
Not.
like the fact that you're sitting in a position to where you're able to, jump consistently at a very, very, very high level, you know what I mean, and not hurt yourself, you know what I mean, because again, I'll circle back to, to what we're talking about. Like, it's such an explosive movement, you know what I mean, that happens over and over and over. I mean, let's be 100. Well, you have it, what, at least three explosive movements that happen every single time, you know what I'm saying, like you're getting ready to hit that point of takeoff. That's not including it, you know what I'm saying, just to run it all together, you know what I mean. And so there's like, so many different combinations of athleticisms that are just thrown into the triple jump,
Yeah.
in and of itself, you know what I mean. Like, you're switching gears, you're switching three or four different gears, man, when you're trying to complete this skill, you know what I mean. And then you're going to top it off with, oh yeah, I gotta, what I'm saying, not just jump as high and as far as I can, but I also gotta land with grace, you know what I'm saying. So so yeah, so I don't kill, so I don't kill my mark.
And with that grace part, the grace part is so important because when coming out of that first phase,
Mm-hmm.
you're you might you're capable of loading up to 10 times your body weight when coming down. So if you're about to crash to the ground with 10 times your body weight and you're in the wrong position,
It's a wrap.
it's a wrap. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a Christmas wrap. It's a crunch
Yeah,
wrap supreme.
absolutely. Like, and again, throws back to like what you said about, hey, you're jumping well right now, but that's not gonna last for long.
Right.
It's just, it's just a ticking time bomb for when you get hurt. Not if, but when you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know
Gotta
what I
be
mean? So
careful.
then one has to figure out, yeah, you know what? Am I fighting against my body when I'm running? Like, what are my feet positions? What
Exactly.
are my toe positions? What are my ankles strong enough to handle this impact? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Make
all,
yourself sprint faster, and then next thing you know, you can't handle the speed that you were.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, there's all these things that go into it. But again, so many people just think like, yo, he's gonna go up there and jump. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's kind of what it is, but then completely not what it is. You know what I mean? And it's like everyone, oh yeah, well, he's just out there jumping, bro. You try it. You know what I mean? And tell me how easy, because it's not easy. It's not easy. You know what I mean? And there's people that have, that have done it for years, and they get to that high level. I'm like, yo, this is this is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Like, because you know, you can get through high school and you put up some good numbers. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you might be able to go to like a lesser competitive, JC. You still put up some pretty decent numbers. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? You start getting around that, what I'm saying, that national level and above, bro. Dudes are built different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The coaching is different. The competition is so different. Yo, and those marks might start going backwards. You know what I mean? Because it just is what it is.
You see that
So
a lot for sure in the
you see
college.
that, yeah, you say that a lot. So, I mean, there's a lot of phenoms coming out, and then they end up jumping in the deep end with y'all sharks, realize like, hey, wait a minute, these boys are built different.
Mhm.
Like, bro, what I'm saying, like, because it's different. The college track season is far different from the professional season. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I
Yeah.
mean, like, you still got class and you still got all that, man. You got to go in these boys that do this for real. Like, it's different. So yeah, oh man, I don't know. I mean, I can talk about this all day. Clearly, I can talk about it all day. But I'm gonna get out your ear, man. But I am, um, I will ask you this, man. Of all the, of all the competitions and everything you've gone to, man. What's been that one? The you know what I mean. You've done it all, man. So it's like, I mean, like, what's been that one? It's like, you know what, man. This is it. This is it.
Like this is the feeling. Like
This is
this is this is what I do this for.
Yeah.
For sure, the was Olympic trials in 2016 when I qualified for the Olympics, and that that I almost feel like I was operating outside of myself, or like I gave
Ooh.
myself an opportunity to 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 not to not get beside myself, almost to where like I knew I had a goal at hand
Uh-huh.
and I was gonna let anything go that wasn't going to help me get to that goal.
Oh my God.
And,
Speak on it, man.
and it's not even like that's what I was telling myself while I was there. I wasn't telling myself that. I just knew like I try to move very genuinely. I try to trust my feelings. I try to like just kind of trust all that's going on around me. And I feel like that's exactly what I did in those moments where I was like, I'm just trusting everything that I've done to this moment and seeing what could happen. And I know that I was really trusting myself because I don't I don't like to I'm consistent. Like
Yeah.
I do the same stuff. I like to give off the same kind of person to people. And I
Hmm.
think that keeps me grounded. It keeps me like me. But
Right.
at that meet, I I found like a chair
Hmm.
way far off, away from the rest of the competition, and
Yeah.
I was just there with my head down, not talking to anybody. Like I was just I I didn't care about nothing else. Like it was really
Yeah.
like I'm here for a reason and I'm focused on that reason and nothing else matters. And I don't I'm glad I'm like thinking back about it now, I know it worked out so perfectly because like that's the mindset that I needed to be in to be able to accomplish something as big as I did. But
Yeah.
I know it was really like me just trusting the fact that I wanted something so genuinely that made me do that because I didn't know that I was even that kind of like I had never competed like that before.
That's crazy, man.
So really qualifying for Olympic trials, it I feel like it almost altered my brain chemistry to where it was like I learned something about myself. I learned what I'm actually capable of as like a human. I it gave me it gave me what's the word? Validation
Hmm.
to why I worked the way that I was even working. Cause
Wow, man.
like I've definitely seen people be more successful than me doing things in a different way, but I always wanted to stay genuine to what I thought was following my morals and
Hmm.
like what was going to keep me in a place to where I'm happy with what I'm doing and I don't feel like I'm affecting anybody in a negative way. Like I'm just being like I guess trying to be a light to anybody around
Right.
me so that I can just be thoughtless in my movements because I know I'm not really like
Ah, that's
affecting anybody.
crazy.
And in that moment, it was like, nah, this is a stamp of validation for the way that you've been trying to move for your life because this is an achievement that you accomplished in the way that you move in your life. So
Absolutely.
definitely like that qualifying for that meet, I learned so much just to kind of about life and the pursuit of happiness, I would say.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
That's
that
great.
one was really, really big for sure. Olympic
Man.
trials 2016, Eugene, Oregon, Track Town, USA.
Man, dude. I think that would I know me. I know the type of person I am, dude. And I think if I ever stepped out on that track, it's man, dude. I mean, I've been there. I've never stepped on the track. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yo, I mean,
It's got an energy to it. It
is
definitely
there, you know
does.
what I mean? I've done Penn, I've done Tyson. Oh man, never came close to the pre. I mean, never came close to even, stepping out. Man, dude, that would be the one. That would probably be the one that shut me down. I know me. I know I am. You know what I mean, I cried like a baby when I stepped on the track and Penn relays. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, when we went to the invitation, Tyson invitation, same thing. I was in the bathroom crying. I cried for like 30 minutes, dude. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe I was there.
I definitely cried that day. I cried on national television. I could not hold it back. And the energy of that place, because in the United States, it's not like when you go to a track meet that's packed out, it's packed out usually because it's a lot of colleges that are there.
Hmm.
So it's just a big mass of different people on different agendas, I would say. Like,
Right,
I'm here to support this school. I'm here to support that school. I'm here
right,
to support this one athlete because he's my family member. But
right.
at Tracktown, you feel like that's your family out there. Like
Like
everybody is really just
they're just a track
spreading
fan.
vibes,
Yeah,
support.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a they got some great fans out there.
man, that's crazy, man. And the fact you were able to do it there.
Yeah.
That's oh my God. You got the spirit of pre just looking down on you, bro. Like, what? That's insane, man. Yeah, I'd have been so out of my head. I know me, bro. I would have been crying.
Yeah,
That's
I was
crazy,
when I
man.
could not hold my shit together. I definitely cried after.
So that's over the Olympics. That's that one.
Yeah, yeah, because I didn't. The Olympics was more of a. I would say it was not more of an experience. It was actually, yeah, it was more of an experience
Hmm.
overall. Like
Yeah.
it was definitely a bigger experience than Olympic trials. I had done Olympic trials before, but it wasn't as Olympic. That meet was more impactful than the Olympics because I think I wasn't able to seize the Olympics. I didn't know,
Hmm.
like, I guess I didn't know what to do or like how to maximize upon myself in such a new environment with so much
Right.
stimulus going on. So out there, I was more of like, I think I was more on the inside looking out than on the outside looking in that
Ah.
situation.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel that. Man, that's just, you know, it's yeah, man. I mean, I guess, one can think of it as, in the Olympics, you were part of the element, you know what I'm saying? But at the trials, you became your own element. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I was more trying to shape my future
Absolutely.
than letting like the
Yeah.
environment shape it for me.
That's
Yeah.
man. Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. This podcast is supposed to come out in a couple weeks. I might have to shift this bad boy up, man. Well, people need
Do
to
what you
hear
gotta
this.
do.
People
Yeah,
need
I
to
appreciate
hear this, man. The people need to hear this. And here's the thing, man. Like you know, I think, you know what I mean. w- I honestly, I think what I'll do, man, I'm gonna have to get back with you. You know what I'm saying, and we'll just talk about the Olympics, the experience of an Olympic athlete, because I think people would be interested in hearing that. Because I think the way this is going, the way that we're talking about, your career leading up to the point, I think this is almost a perfect way to end it because the way you move. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you said it. You said it, and even really what I said, like, you're a very humble cat. You know what I mean? And at no point, you know what I'm saying, I always feel like I almost have to drag it out even that we even talk about the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've talked about everything else but the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? And which is, for so many athletes, and so for so many American fans, you know what I mean, is the crowning achievement of any, American athlete. I feel like more so than any Super Bowl, any World Championship, any World Series. I feel like an Olympian is just it's a different level. Um, and the fact that, you know what I mean, like, that's been probably the smallest detail that we've even touched on speaks volumes about who you are. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, we're definitely gonna have to touch base again. You know what I'm saying, and just talk about the Olympic experience, man. Because I feel like, what I might do. I might see if Troy quit, you know what I'm saying, dragging his feet, get y'all both on this bad boy at the same
That'd be
time and just
fire.
talk about that. I think that's gonna be the next one we do, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get at Troy. I'm gonna do that as soon as I get off. I'm gonna get at Troy.
Mhm.
We're gonna talk about the Olympic experience, man, because I think that'll go nuts. You know what I'm saying? And we'll let Troy do it. You know what I'm saying? We'll let Troy do what Troy do. You know
I
what I'm
was that was the person I was around the most while I was out in Rio. That like
That's
that's yeah,
yeah.
like because that's my guy. Like that's like we're really close friends.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, if you can, he was on a whole different country's team. So
Yep.
it was basically both of our perspectives being able to just be molded into one for our first Olympic experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. That's definitely gonna be the next one. That's definitely gonna be the next one. I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even gonna take no for an answer. All right, so we're gonna get to the last couple questions, bro. I hope you got your song. I hope you got figured out
Yeah,
which one you.
I think I thought of one that I think I would feel good about
Making
being
that.
strong.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the Rushmore, man. Like, so everybody, that listens to this, they know. I always ask that question: you know, who's your top 4 people? You know what I mean? Who's on your Mount Rushmore? And so you're no exception, my man. Um, who would you have on your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah. And it's like broad, like it's not
Yeah,
just within
yeah, it can be whomever
yeah.
you want.
four. Uh, I know I could think of at least three. Or Kanye West is on my Mount Rushmore. I don't care about his present antics. It's about the span of his career.
Okay, I'll give you. I'll
Everything.
give you Yeezy. I'll give you him.
Yeah, I got high respect for Ye. Kobe Bryant. Yeah,
Whoa!
that's he's such a respectable human. Period.
Facts. Facts.
Like legacy beyond basketball, but
Absolutely.
then legacy within basketball, what he stood for within basketball. Like,
Absolutely.
but then after those two, uh, I feel like I should put a rapper in there. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar gonna be on there.
You'll put Kendrick. So
Yeah,
so we're not. So you okay? Here's my question then. We got Yeezy. You know what I'm saying? Yay! But this is just yay overall.
uh,
This is well. So we're saying we're like
as
pre
a or
as
go
a
go.
as a rapper, as a producer,
No, Ye is just
as a
as an artist.
businessman,
Kanye was
as a
my favorite artist. He's
facts.
an
Okay,
artist. Yeah,
I will give you that because maybe 100 before Ye's mom died, dog. He was just a
yeah.
different level artist. You know what I'm saying?
But
I
then
mean,
think about what he accomplished after that. Maybe not so much in music. I still respect his catalog after that. But then, like with the sneakers,
yeah, man.
the fashion,
He
even like,
impacted fashion.
but he even like, I mean, he's so future minded. Like, it's like he's just trying to develop things so far. I just have so much respect for like what he's really trying to do, even though he's doesn't do so well of getting his messages off to the
Yeah,
masses.
yeah. He's got to work on that part. But I mean, he's a flawed human being, as we are. Um, yeah. One time for Ye, one time for Kobe, one time for K. Dot. Wow, Kendrick, that's a good one, bro. Kendrick, wow.
Yeah, I would have to say he became my favorite rapper. I had to respect like what he did in rap, like
Oh yeah,
for sure. Before that, I think it was Lil Wayne
yeah.
from like his early catalog.
Yeah, bro. I used to be such a Wayne head, man, and
Yeah, have to respect that.
it just kind of drizzled away, man. Like
He got oversaturated. Yeah, he
it,
couldn't keep up
it
with
just
how great
well, I mean, my thing always with artists is this, bro. Like at some point you got to take a step back, you know what I mean? And your style is your style, you know what I mean? And that's it. I feel like Wayne revolutionized while he didn't necessarily make the mixtape, but Wayne revolutionized taking somebody's taking somebody with gangster grills. I would say that gangster grills really helped Ye. I'm not Ye, but helped Wayne set the tone for being
the
being
rapper.
the that's just he was the goat, and there was nobody better than Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
What he was doing to other people's beats,
Like,
he was turning songs into his songs that
yeah,
were popular already. Yeah,
like I mean, I still, and again, I still have to. I always, I mean, to this day, people always give me guff for it, bro. But I still, man, there is something about the way DJ Drama lays these tracks down, the way he gets these people together for these gang. Because honestly, had Gangsta Grills not existed, obviously the mixtape era would not be what it was. But
mhm.
I don't think Wayne would have been the Wayne that we know because of. I mean, Wayne was cold. Don't get me wrong, he was cold. But dude, that Gangsta Grills
He needed direction, and that
too.
gave him direction.
That's I mean, and again, I'm not even really rocking with Wayne like I used to. You know what I'm
He
saying? But that Gangsta Grills, that dedication too, that's the greatest mixtape That's the greatest mixtape that's ever been made, bro. I don't care what anybody says. I'm willing to box behind that. There's no greater mixtape that was ever made, man. And
I like Drop Three. Drop Three is
the
what
drought, but that was around the same time. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like the drought is not because that was he had the live from the 504 that one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I could do the words to that too, but
dude.
go
That was my
ahead.
golly, yeah, man. So I mean, Wayne had a span that was so crucial to hip hop music in its just music in general. You know what I mean? Like it's just God, man, that dude could not
Gotta
be touched.
respect it. Yeah.
And
I
then
feel like he
and
gets left off of top fives a lot because of his latter career. But
yeah, and the thing is, I just it's just how it is, man. I mean, you can be the goat for and go out like the goat, but you can't stay too long that your flame burns out. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing I feel like if Wayne's like, hey, I'm a kind of Jay-Z it, like I'm gonna come out every 3 or 4 years with a quality project. You know what I'm saying? And then disappear, focus on your business, and you straight. I feel like, I mean, his legacy is cemented. I feel, but you know what I mean, in terms of how hip hop is now, I definitely feel like Wayne disappearing and coming back every so often. I feel like that'll be better for the legacy than
definitely.
trying to hang on too long. But that just speaks volumes about Kendrick, the fact that he's able to replace Wayne in that top spot for you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because I do believe Kendrick is he's on one of those. He's on one of those. I think he's figured out the recipe. He and J. Cole have both, I think, figured out the recipe. Like, you know what? You can move at your own pace as long as when you do give the people what they want, it's a classic. And people
Kendrick's
don't.
been lacking though. He's been taking a little bit too long of a hiatus for me right now. I don't know
I
what's going on
mean,
with the
I
guy.
I I, I would agree, but I will say this: when have you ever heard any Kendrick project that hasn't been an instant classic? It just doesn't happen. Like Kendrick puts out quality. So I mean, and I feel like at his stage in terms of being an MC, you have the right now to release when you want to, not when
Mhm.
the people want you to. You know what I mean? But here's the thing: when you do take a long time to release, it's got to be a banger.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
and that
So
yeah, that's pressure.
that's absolute pressure. Like him and Rihanna, bro, they just going neck and neck for who's going to take the longest to release something. You know what I mean? So I mean, but again, they could be trying to pull a D'Angelo. Like I'm just going, every 8 9 years come out with something. I don't know, but yeah,
Um,
I feel that. So we got Yeezy, we got Kobe, we got Kendrick.
mhm. And then I'm gonna say my dad on the
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, that goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say pops whenever.
yeah.
You
That's
know,
he might not have the accolades of the other three, but he's got them in my heart. That's
already. I mean,
you know,
listen, man. I think people, you know what I'm saying, if you were fortunate enough, you know what I mean, and it's weird even saying it out loud, but if you were fortunate enough, you know what I'm saying, to grow up with a father, you know what I'm saying, a supportive father, you know what I'm saying, it no knock on those that didn't have that opportunity, but if you did have a father that's supportive, you know what I mean, and if you were fortunate enough to be in a position to have any type of, any type of success, you know what I mean, it doesn't matter what it could be, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, you could, it could be as a businessman. It could be, as a welder. It could be as whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the realm of sport. But if you, achieved any type of accolade, any type of greatness, any type of success, for some reason, man, you always think back to like a lesson that Pops taught or support that Pops gives. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? I mean, it just you just can't shake it. So you know what I mean, for you to put pops on that Rushmore, I mean I mean that's the most accepted one, that's gonna be on there. You know what I mean? Like
mhm,
you can never go wrong with putting pops. You can never go wrong with putting moms. On that Rushmore, man. I mean, not only do they, obviously did they give you life, bro, but they give you those are your first those are your first number one fans, bro.
yep,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And and when you mess up, those are the first ones that tell you, hey man, you're wrong for that.
mhm,
Um, and when you succeed, they're proud of you. They're prouder of you than you are of yourself, which is just insane to think. You know what I mean? And I mean, I feel that, because I know how my dad is. You know what I mean? And I think that's just I'm with that.
Yeah,
I agree with
appreciate
that one wholeheartedly, bro. So we got we got Kobe, we got Ye, we got Kendrick, we got Pops
it.
on
Barack
our
Obama,
Rushmore.
honorable mention.
Say what?
Barack Obama, honor.
Oh, absolutely. Come on, man. Come
Gotta
on,
mention.
man. You gotta put Barry O in there. I mean, that's just
I've never been more nervous to shake a man's hand.
man. You living that life, man. Like, come on. That's again. You see how Chris throw those subtle flexes in there. Like, I mean, listen. I don't even. That would have been. I would have passed out.
I
I'm
was
just.
nervous.
I'm too emotional, man, for all of that. I couldn't have done it. I probably would pass out before that man even got to me. But I mean, but again, that's listen. Do you hear what we're dealing with, people? Like, man, this man is on a level where he's shaking the president's hand. Like,
Was
here,
re-
here I am over here, like thinking I'm making something happen. Winning the medal, bro. I ain't done nothing. I gotta work. I gotta get some work in. But I
we
meant
all gotta work.
already. All right, so we'll get down to our final thing, man. We'll get our. I told this man it was gonna be an hour. Here we are. We're approaching 2. I'm tripping. Uh, so y'all know how it goes. Y'all know I be. I always ask the guests, if I cost you in an alley, only way you get out this alley alive, you got to give me 15 seconds of a rhyme, word for word, or a song, word for word, or a slogan, word for word. You know what I mean? Chris says he's got it. What song are we going with?
We're gonna do Barry Bonds, Kanye West.
Okay, going Barry Bonds. All right, let me get this timer ready. Let me get this timer ready for the people. You know what I mean? That's honestly, that's not even enough to get off a full, you know what I'm saying, a full 16. That's just enough for a few bars.
So yeah, that's all I want to give is a few. I
Yeah,
don't want to get to the part where I gotta mumble. So
all right, all right. So you are set at 15 seconds. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
this what y'all all been waiting for, ain't it? What people paid paper for, ain't it? They can't explain it. They want something new. So let's get reacquainted. I've been the hood favorite. I surprised myself too. Life of a dawn. Lights keep going. Coming
Hey,
in the club with that fresh on with something crazy on my arm.
ah,
And here's another hit, Barry Bonds.
done. Hey, we did that. Man, listen, I Chris, my man, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I said to every guest, and I mean it every time. I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you taking the time out. You know what I'm saying? I know you got to get to that Smash Bros. I know you got to get to that rest time. I mean, I
Sure.
know with your post training, man, and you took the time out to kick it with us for a little bit. It means a lot to me, man. It means a lot. I'm sure to the people that are listening and are going to be watching, man. Um, where can you be reached?
At Fly with 2 Y's, Fly like Chris B on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, Chris BENARD. Pretty simple. Yeah. Oh,
Damn.
thank you for having me. This was fun.
Man,
No,
I
this is
appreciate you.
really good
Thank you
vibe.
for being on this. Hey, this part 2 is gonna be crazy.
I
We
agree.
gotta get Troy D on this, boy.
Gotta get
It's part 2 is about to be crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being a part of this, man. We literally had a chance to talk. This is history. This is literally history. This is one of the greatest to ever do it. You know what I mean? And again, not only is one of the greatest to ever do it, but he's one of the greatest that ever did it and represented our nation. That's rarefied air, man. I appreciate you, my brother, more than you know. Thank you for being on this thing. I will talk to you soon. Part 2 is coming soon, y'all. Y'all be safe. Be good, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You be good too. Be safe
All
out
right.
there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Peace.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, if you're on YouTube, make sure you go like, you comment, subscribe. Make sure you tell as many people as you can. I'm trying to blow this bad boy up. If you're on any of the other forms of media, obviously just make sure you subscribe. Tell as many people as you can. I'm trying to think of what else. If you are in need of coaching, clothes, nutrition, swag, you can always go to my website, lsmcclaim.com, and we will take care of all your needs, right? We got it all. Hey, That's what it's about. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening and subscribing and commenting and just making this thing blow up as much as it has been. Let's keep it rolling. Appreciate you guys very much.